welcome back to another episode of Under the Surface. I'm Bizarre Blake, and this is,
I'm Nonhead. Hi.
and we're your hosts as usual. And today we're going to be looking at just sort of the current patch and who we've been playing, what builds we've been liking, what builds we've been upset by.
Yeah, like Pig
And
is rampant right now.
yeah, and I guess we'll start with Vanessa. We'll get to Pig because there's a lot to say about Pig. I've been playing Vanessa less. I think she's weaker, in my personal opinion. I'm not sure how you feel about her.
She might be a bit. I don't remember exactly what was nerfed, but well, the fact that mostly Pig's cards were hit, though the Crook build is still extremely strong, and as the Pufferfish Vanessa, like, it's alright still. I've been having some sort of success with her. However, like, it falls off later on, so whenever you encounter those full diamond Crook builds, you usually cannot keep up with this.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed while playing Vanessa. I've had more luck with the port builds, port ammo sort of builds, because once you get into the final days, it feels like you can't build up enough poison. But then whenever I play against Vanessa Pufferfish builds, I get wrecked, so I'm probably just doing something wrong.
To be fair, well, we have like we have 20 days of beta right now, as of right now, and I have never even once played port build on Vanessa. So I should probably try that soon. But yeah, I've seen on Reddit that people really enjoy that port potion build, right?
Yeah.
It might be good because it has a lot of CC, but as I haven't tried that myself, I cannot, say that for sure. But in terms of Pufferfish Vanessa, recently I've been trying ship wheel plus submarine combo, and of course Pufferfish. So it has some sort of sustain with the submarine, since it grants you a bit of shielding every time it goes off, and you can usually find some skills that haste the submarine. So the submarine triggers very often, which allows for the wheel to trigger as well, because it triggers every time a large item adjacent to it is used, I think, or simply large item is used, something like that. So you can easily make an infinite combo for Pufferfish, but the main thing about Pufferfish is you need to have enough poison on it to stack it fast enough, because if your Pufferfish is like 4 points of poison or even 8, that might not be enough for 10,000 health Pygmalien.
I think that's what I usually run into, where my Pufferfish just isn't beefed up enough. But I'm a big submarine enjoyer, so I might have to try that build out.
Well, maybe we shouldn't focus on Pufferfish that much, but in terms of this submarine build, if you can get your Pufferfish to like 15 to 20 poison, and you get enough supporting skills and maybe items besides submarine and wheel, you can usually get to 7 wins fairly easily, and sometimes even to 10 wins, at least in my experience.
That's just the last thing I'll say about the Pufferfish build. It's her main build right now, though, so I guess it's worth talking about. But I know Crip had mentioned, like, I don't know exactly how this works, but there's internal cooldowns with items, and Pufferfish just doesn't have one. So it just pops off like infinitely without any regard for
it's
stopping.
Yeah, it shoots as fast as you can haste items. And sometimes you can do infinite loops. Like, whenever you use a non-item, haste a non-weapon item, haste a weapon, right? So if your only weapon is the submarine, in that case, in my build, then you can haste that submarine very efficiently, and then you can have a skill like whenever you use a large item, haste another item. So that sort of goes in circles then. But what do you think about ammo builds? But not necessarily ammo builds in terms of this port potion, but like weapon spam, throwing knives, repeaters, all that jazz.
That's usually what I find myself playing on Vanessa. I mean, it was definitely stronger in the last patch before they nerfed the crit dagger, but I mean, they're still pretty good. Sometimes I have trouble scaling them into the late game, though. I feel like you usually need like port or something to get them popping off and get that infinite ammo. But I really love doing an ammo build and then throwing in Mac potions. That's where it gets really fun.
Yeah, but if you want to go this weapon route, then, and let's say you don't actually invest in the pot and you go for Crow's Nest, because I think that's more popular choice. First of all, you need the crow's nest to be at least gold, but most likely diamond. So you can be sure that you can crit as much as you can, and you want to crit on all of your shots, right? But if you can get some skills or items, then you might not need the diamond crow's nest. But then you need an enabler for your throwing knives. So that's usually a repeater, because it says whenever you use an ammo item, use this. So they combo with each other very well. But then you need a skill that whenever you crit, reload an item, or whenever you use an ammo item, reload another ammo item. I don't remember exactly how it's worded, but there are a couple of skills that allow you to reload your items without a port. So I guess getting a large item is a bit easier than targeting specific skills. But on the other hand, I think port builds are a bit slower but more reliable compared to crow's nest builds.
Yeah, I probably agree. And I really like to go for like a single weapon build if I get crow's nest, but also it's like really easily stopped and by like any sort of slow or anything. I don't know, single weapon builds just seem kind of hard to pull off. Like you need the stars to sort of align, but I think they're really fun if you can get it to pull off with like a sniper
Yeah.
rifle or something, or a katana maybe.
Yeah, I have never played sniper build yet. You know, I have every time I've been offered a sniper rifle, it was too late in the run and I couldn't pivot towards it. But I've made a 10-win katana build, which was really fun. And I also made one 9-build run where I was all in on the cannon, which was also pretty fun. But as you said, having only one weapon and assembling your whole board just to support that one weapon makes you vulnerable to CC. So if you run into a, freezing build or like slow spam, it's really hard to come back from that.
Do you want to move on to Pygmalion?
Yeah, we could, but I was just about to ask you if you have any like off-meta tips and tricks for Vanessa. Like any
really,
items
no.
that you like that aren't that popular.
Not really. I mean, I'm typically just playing ammo, but I've played her a lot less since the patch. I've been trying to play a lot of Pig.
I see.
Because he's good and because I played a lot of Vanessa pre-patch, so...
Yeah, so this patch I mostly play Vanessa actually, but yeah, the only thing for the last thing is rifle isn't that great. However, if you get it early enough, it can carry you through a couple of days until you can get a stronger piece. So rifle, I wouldn't disregard it. If it's early enough in the game, in the run, you can usually use it to some degree. But you have to remember that it has to be your only weapon on the board, because it won't reload itself if you don't.
I've tried to do a few like I've gotten rifle early and tried to do a few builds with it, but I can never get it to do anything past the first few days.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it could be a single weapon type of thing, but it just doesn't do that.
It's definitely an early game weapon, but if you can combine it with like a grindstone or a honing steel, it can you can stretch out the usefulness of it.
An item I just thought of, actually, I don't think this is off meta at all, but an item I really like is Life Preserver, especially the first few days, because
yeah,
you can have like nothing going for you and have Life Preserver and still win some early days.
Oh yeah,
so
Life Preserver is also a really useful early game weapon or like item. You don't really need to have anything else on the board, and you can possibly win with simply a life preserver and maybe a seashell or something like that.
Okay, I got a lot to say about Pygmalion.
Oh, then do.
He's definitely, I've been playing him. He's definitely the most underpowered hero.
Underpowered?
I'm just kidding. He's absolutely broken. Like, I feel like his builds are, he has like several really good builds and they're all super easy to pull off. Like,
I mean,
you can always be getting 7 wins with him if you're.
I mean, you can say the obvious thing. Like the Crook Atlatl build is insane. Like, I played a couple of times with this exact setup. Crook, Atlatl, maybe a Regal Blade, because Regal Blade is really popular recently. So, and if you get an arms dealer although I think it was disabled, so you
No.
might not be able to get it right now, but a couple of days ago it was possible to get a Regal Blade Arms Dealer start. So if you got that, you were possibly set up for a 10-win run just from the get-go.
I think arms dealer is like, I mean, like, if you see that skill at the beginning, which you do most of the time as him, if you don't pick it, I don't know what you're doing because it's so broken. It's 30 max health every single time you buy or sell a weapon.
Yes.
And I mean, you can buy and sell a lot of weapons on day one.
To be fair,
So
I think having it on buy and sell was a mistake on the part of Tempo, because like if it was only on selling or only on buying, possibly only on buying, I think that would be okay. But the fact that you can get it, every time you, let's say, spend 2 gold on a weapon, on a bronze small weapon, you get 60 gold. That's more than the chocolate festival, the free option, because if you get 5 bronze chocolate bars, you're getting plus 50 health. And I mean, yeah, that's for free, but still, you pay 2 gold for 60 health on day one. That's bonkers.
yeah. And you can get that I don't remember what it's called exactly. It's like an axe and it comes with a coin. So it's like basically free.
I think it's called hatchet or something like that.
Yeah. So
might be.
I see that all the time on day one, and then you just buy that, and then you've gotten a free
Yeah, and then let's
60
say
health.
you also drop silk, and you can stack both silk and the Regal Blade, right? I mean, I've had a couple of runs where I received a Regal Blade on my first day, and then it had like 250 damage before my first PvP fight. So I just one-shot my opponent within the first 6 seconds of the fight. So it cannot be fair. No way it is.
Yeah, it needs to be desperately reworked.
And I
Go
suppose the
ahead.
second elephant in the room is the beekeeper Pygmalien build. Were you blessed enough to find beehive during any of your runs?
So I'm a beehive enjoyer. If I see beehive, I'll pivot into it, even if it doesn't make sense. I
I mean,
love that item. I love the bees. I liked it more before the patch, because before the patch it was all your bees were activated whenever they just used a weapon, but now it's just with any item. So I think it's actually it might be better now.
oh,
But
it's
it was more
definitely
fun to have
better
like
because
it was more fun to have like 10 bees on the board though, and all
I mean,
triggering at the same time.
couldn't
But
have 10 bees, but usually there was a beehive because it needs to be on the board for the bees to trigger. Then you had like 6 bees for them to, hit your opponent, and then some form of stacking damage or whatever, some sort of stacking either damage or health or shielding, because you needed some form of acceleration for the bees. And if you wanted to play bees earlier, like in the previous patch, you needed to go all in on the bees. And now you just buy 1 bronze beehive, because it doesn't matter what tier it is, because they all work the same. And then you just put that beehive in, you get your really pretty bee, then you pair it with yo-yo and possibly maybe marbles, maybe a grindstone, whatever you want, and then it just kills your opponent. And you just invested like 4 to 5 slots for a sort of machine gun bee, and then the rest of your board can be devoted into either accelerating your other items or just allowing you to sustain more. So I think the bees were buffed into the, I don't know, next dimension. Like, it's not even funny how strong the bees are. They are even stronger than caltrops, in my opinion, right now.
yeah, well, and there's another item that goes well with them. It's a little harder to get. It's a Jules item, knife set. I've gotten it a couple times on bee like yo-yo build runs, and knife set goes off every time you use a weapon, I think. So you're just like constantly using your bee to trigger your yo-yo, and then your knife set's going off over and over and over again. If you have Crook on the board
Nice.
somewhere, it's just like
Oh, right.
game over.
Yeah, because Crook is also easily paired with bees, because bees come with a medium item, right? So that's... I mean, I don't want to criticize Tempo too much, because they are looking for things to improve the game, and not every try needs to be successful. But I think this particular patch is sort of a miss. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but on one hand we have those item changes, and then we have level up changes, which are also like adding fuel to the fire. I don't really feel like it, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the level up changes. I like the old 3 kind of choices because you get like 5 choices now, I think, and sometimes it's still you don't want any of them. I don't know. It's just kind of
Yeah,
weird.
because previously you had 3 choices which were sort of curated to the items and in general stuff on your board, like or your skills, whatever. But now you have 5 totally random options, and on top of that you have on your 6th and 11th level you get those upgrade your leftmost items. So having, instead of 1 guaranteed level up, you have 2 guaranteed level ups. So it's, and besides going to level 5 or 6, excuse me, because that's your 5th level up because you start on level 1. That's like day 4. If you are lucky and you play your cards right, you can get to that on the day 3, I think, but not always. But so usually on day 4 you can have 1 diamond item, and if it's a relevant diamond item, like something that you can build around, you are so far ahead of your competition that it's hard to beat you, simply put, you know? So in my
Yeah.
opinion, like I would like to make a sort of a statement about the level up options, because I was thinking about this, and I think I like the 5 sort of random options, but I would remove all the level up options from the rewards, right? So upgrade your leftmost item, upgrade your leftmost shield items, all those things. I would remove them from the rewards outright because they accelerate the game too much. And I would do sort of like weight system for those rewards, as in if you get a 1, let's say, shielding reward in your level up rewards, there is a much smaller chance of getting another shield option in the rest of your level up rewards. So you should be getting like 5 different options to choose from, and 1 should always be relevant for your build. At least 1, you know? So if you're playing shielding items, you should always have at least 1 shielding reward. Or if you're playing like healing build, you should always have like at least 1 healing reward in your level up rewards. And on top of that, I think that merchants, which I think I'm getting to a sort of a tangent, but it's really important to me, so I would like to say it if you allow me.
Yeah, go for it.
I think merchants should also be sort of like put under this weight system, in the sense that whenever you find one particular merchant and you go to that particular merchant, I think it should be sort of removed from the pool for your next encounters, in the sense that the probability of encountering the same merchant should be much lower if you have already gone to that merchant. I'm not sure if you know what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think doing it that way would be a lot more satisfying for the player.
Right, because my motivation for trying this approach is like, at this point, whenever you go to a merchant in the later day, you already have a really small chance of finding an upgrade to your item. So you usually like reroll and find nothing is useful, so you just leave the shop. So you usually just wasted a day and 3 gold for a reroll. So if you don't really give the player that hope of finding an upgrade, you might as well just offer them a new item to try and see whether this new item can fit your board. Maybe you can upgrade something, maybe change something in your build. Because if you are fishing for those upgrades and you don't find them, I think the only feeling that you're left with is frustration. I don't know if you have similar experience.
I agree, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to realize how often I'm going to the same merchant and re-rolling for so many days into the late game, especially because the builds are you're really looking for specific items, I guess. I've been playing a lot of Pig, so you're looking for like Crook or something, and you just keep going over and over again.
Yes,
and
so you're
it's not
looking
really
for
in the spirit of
medium.
the game.
Right. So if you're going for a Crook build, you are looking for medium items, you're looking for tools, and if you are not, well, if you know that you are going like to have one guaranteed medium merchant and one guaranteed tool merchant. Sort of. I'm not saying they should be guaranteed, but like if you find them, that's the moment you should click on them if you want to have those items, because later on you might not have that opportunity. So like the fact that those opportunities to find certain merchants were fleeting in a sense, I think that would elevate the sort of skill expression of the game instead of just being sort of luck based, because there are situations when your build is sort of complete but you're only looking for upgrades and you're never offered the merchants that sell your items, or you are never offered skill merchants at all. Because I had runs where I've been offered gambles over and over again, and well, gambles aren't that great. They can sometimes help, but that's not a significant upgrade. And if you are offered gambles like 4 times in a row instead of a skill merchant, then that's also sort of sad. So that's why I'm for this weight system. So the events aren't going to like repeat themselves, you know?
Yeah, I had a match yesterday, or a run yesterday, where I did the same thing, and I was like, I had my build pretty much ready to go early on, and then I just kept running into gumballs and chocolate bars like over and over again, and I was like, I'm just wasting every single day here just getting like 5 chocolate bars.
Yeah,
When I could
exactly.
be like making some even more broken pig build.
Yeah, so I hope the next patch can bring us much needed changes. Maybe like I think the tempo went from one extreme to the other, and the truth lays somewhere in the middle. And right now we just need to, balance things out. We need to feel the what's the best for the game. And I think like let's give them 1 more week, maybe 2 more weeks. Let's try new stuff, and at some point I think we're going to actually land at the point where we're going to be satisfied with how the game plays.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think I just kind of assumed after playing a little bit of this patch, they just wanted to try something really different while they can. So I'm guessing that's just what they did. So that's, I think this is the time to do it. I'd rather them do it now than during the open beta when there's tons of new players who, might put down the game and never play it again if it plays like this.
I mean, there's enough whining as it is right now. So I can expect that when the game goes into open beta, this can only triple or even like increase tenfold even. Like, I don't really envy Tempo at this point, because they really have the, like, I don't really know how to call it, but like work cut out for them. I think that's the saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So short section about Dooley at the end. How about that?
I've been playing a bit of Dooley. Dooley's still my least played hero, but I tried to get into him because when I play Pig, one of the, I guess, builds I've been seeing a lot are those Harmadillo builds.
Oh yeah.
And that item is a little cracked.
Sus. As kids say these days. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they pair it with that the bunker, and the bunker just triggers every time you do damage. So if you're doing a lot of damage to them, their Harmadillo might have a couple hundred shield and just pop off over and over and over again and just take you out.
I mean, Harmadillo is sort of like bees for Pygmalien, but for Dooley. That's my interpretation of it, at least. So I mean, I don't really like Harmadillo. Like, I think, like, I like the flavor of the item. I like the idea that you are sort of, well, gaining shield equals damage. I like the idea of that. But because it can stack so well, and it's like it's almost like Pufferfish levels of combo. And I don't know, I'm not even sure how to, like, describe my feelings towards Harmadillo, but I don't like that build, simply put. Like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I try to, if I play Dooley, I try to not play Harmadillo because it gets boring for me.
I feel the same way, and I feel like I don't know how to describe it either, but that's like not what Dooley is supposed to be.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it feels wrong.
Yeah. I've been playing Dooley a lot the last patch, and I've been having a lot of success with double core Dooley. I've been mentioning that to you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but since they nerfed Beta Ray, I haven't been playing Dooley that much because the main reason the double core was so successful was, well, the disruption sort of, because it scaled a lot, but it scaled slower than Pygmalien can scale. However, the Beta Ray was an excellent disruption which allowed you to like outpace your opponent. But since it can only target small items right now, you cannot reliably slow or freeze your opponents, in this case Pygmalions, because that's your main opponent in this game right now. Like the main pieces of Pygmalion's board are usually medium or large. So if your Beta Ray cannot freeze them, you are not outpacing them, in my opinion at least. So I sort of set aside Dooley right now. And besides, the companion core, the one that triggers with the friends, is bugged. So it doesn't accelerate all your friends. It doesn't haste all your friends. It just hastes one random friend, or one that's the leftmost, I think. So
That sucks.
yeah, and besides, all the cores were sort of nerfed. So I've been trying to play Dooley a couple of times, and I've been like mostly losing, like 4 to 7 wins, that sort of stuff. And I don't know, it lost. It's like Dooley has lost his charm for me, sort of, this patch. So I've been focusing on Vanessa, and I'm sort of waiting for the next week.
Yeah, I feel like you do about Dooley because I hadn't really played him a lot. I'm having kind of fun playing him, but I'm not when I'm not doing the Harmadillo builds, but I'm
Mhm.
not really winning a lot, even in the casual mode. So I'm just sort of playing him to mess around with his items and less like taking it super hardcore and serious, I guess.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
a couple of I was inspired by your dual core builds, and I've been trying a couple. I've done okay with them, but like you said, the
Right.
big item was nerfed. So
Yeah, I mean, like because for our listeners, the dual core build is counting from the left. Combat core, GPU, cool LEDs, motherboard, the core, the regular core. It can be substituted for the critical core, but it's not the same. The core is much better, and then Beta Ray. That's all your 10 slots covered, and you have insane stacking of shielding and also damage. And then you had a lot of disruption from cool LEDs and from Beta Ray. But now it's not that great. Like, it's still pretty good build, but because the Beta Ray cannot target medium and large items, your only CC for those types of items is cool LEDs, which, well, they trigger a lot because you have double cores, but still, I would need to try that again, but I don't think it's that good because the meta has shifted towards Pygmalion builds, and also like the cores were nerfed a bit, so the power level has shifted in terms of like character, like balance, sort of. Like Pygmalion is, I don't think anybody will be surprised when I say the Pygmalion is the strongest hero right now because he can get much more money quickly than other characters can, and then it's easy to obtain the strongest items from his item pool. However, I don't know, because of the oversaturation of the Pygmalion on the ladder, I don't really want to play him as well. I guess that's my final thought about on this topic actually. Like, please, if you don't have to, don't play Pygmalion. Like, or at least don't force Crook, Atlatl, or Bees builds, because that's simply lame.
yeah, it's not like you're not skillful, you know, you're just kind of trolling at this point because like every other build you fight is some pig doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just let us know in the comments below what you've been playing. What builds are flying under the radar? You know,
Yeah.
what strong builds are flying under the radar? Because I'd like to play something a little bit different that's still good.
Oh yeah. Share all your favorite items with us, and maybe some skills that are not they are not that popular, but maybe they are useful. There is one from Crit Merchant that says whenever your opponent goes to half health, charge your items for 2 seconds. I really like that one. So
Yeah,
things
I've
like
used that a
that.
few times.
Yeah. So I guess thanks for listening to us rambling one more time.
Yep. And we'll see you
On Monday.
Nunhead's.
Yeah.
Yep, on Nunhead's shit on Monday.
Yeah. All right. And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Right. Oh, yeah.